All right, we'll get started here. I have Laura Erdem here, who is sales manager at Dreamdata. Dreamdata is a B2B SaaS platform that does revenue attribution. We've used it before. We still use it. I feel like we're too small to really get the most benefit. I'm a customer, but or a free user, I guess, of Dreamdata, not a paying customer. So I like the tool. And we're going to talk about sales and marketing alignment. And I picked that topic because, well, one, Laura, you talk about that on LinkedIn, and I feel like you have some great thoughts on that. Clearly, we have some more people joining in here. Clearly, you have a good sense of both because, on the one hand, you're on the sales side at Dreamdata. You were their first AE, if I understand it correctly, in 2020, and now moved up to sales manager, leading the sales team for the US. And I mean, from your LinkedIn, Anna, before you said that your LinkedIn is super fun, clearly you understand marketing and content and how to, create your own pipeline for yourself. So that's why I wanted to have you on. Do you want to say like 2 sentences about yourself and Dreamdata, just so people have a little bit of context, if there's anything else you feel like should be added?
You pretty much put it in the right way. So thank you for having me. And I'm all in for sales and marketing alignment, or maybe marketing and sales alignment, because we have seen too many disconnects for a really long time. And that's what basically Dreamdata does. Helps marketers to understand what's driving revenue and helps salespeople to appreciate what marketing is doing because of all of the insights that they're delivering when you're going over into meetings or going to call the next one, or what's the intent and stuff. So like the whole go-to-market data is at your fingertips, and that's what we do. And that's why I speak about close collaboration. So we
Awesome.
Walk the talk.
Yeah, no, and we're going to dive into topics here. Just one heads up for people. I want to make these community events. We're going to do this every week. So the people who are on the Zoom, if you have questions, feel free to just drop them in the chat or unmute yourself. Like, this is an organic thing. I don't want to just lecture to a bunch of people. So yeah, feel free to unmute yourself and jump in. The people on the LinkedIn Live, I just put the Zoom link in here if you want to join us. Otherwise, you can put we got 25 people in here. If you want to put your questions in the chat, I'm going to try to monitor that and incorporate it as I see it and as it works. So maybe let's start with Laura. How do you think what sales alignment is? Like, what is it and what's the goal? What's the outcome if you do it properly?
Yeah, well, the goal is revenue. So that is in pure alignment ways, like this is the perfect world of alignment. We know what we do to drive revenue. So marketing know their milestones and what they're measured upon. And it's not vanity, it's something that you would know, is it driving revenue or not? Well, sometimes you'll have to go with guts anyway, but still, at the end of the day, after the long customer journeys, you would know that we were driving some parts of revenue due to, we can talk about like LinkedIn, social and stuff like that as well. So that's the perfect alignment. And I speak a lot about that as well. It's like, it's not like a woo-ha perfect friendship where we just go out for beers and we like each other and we're best buddies and so on. Well, that's nice. It's really, really nice if you like each other to work together. And that would be the ultimate goal. But you don't have to like be the biggest friends or something like that. We have different goals. What's the most important part of that alignment is respect for each other's craft. So salespeople have their own craft. How do they close those deals when they're coming from marketing? And marketing does not know how to close deals. Well, maybe some perfect marketers would know, but still it is a hit or miss because this is a craft of clearly defined goals of how you close a client again and again and again with success. For marketing, it's so much different. And salespeople have to respect what marketing is doing because marketing, as soon as they know that they're bringing in quality leads, quality revenue, accounts that I'm actually being able to close every time they come in, I don't know, every third SQL is going to be closed as new business. Because we know exact milestones that it takes, exact time that it takes. Well, there are a lot of discrepancies in that too, but respect for each other's craft is the biggest part of it. Because I think that that's where misalignment comes in as well, where I think, oh, what? You brought me bad leads. Or it goes the other way. Oh, but you don't have no fucking idea how to close clients. Like, okay, let's relax and do our own job and help that chain of leads coming in and revenue being closed as smooth as possible for clients. Because that's why we're here, not to push back and forth because we're measured differently or something. So that's a liner for me.
Yeah. I'm curious to get your take because I'm more on the marketing side. We're a marketing agency, but I do sales for us. So for me, it's always been aligned because I only do marketing that actually brings in deals because I close them. How I feel like there is a certain sense of disdain that salespeople have for marketing. And I think it comes from the fact that maybe there's a lot of ineffective marketing that people do, where salespeople who are on the other side of them, they're just like, I don't understand why you do all of these things, but I don't want to talk to these leads. And like, first question, I guess, what do you think is the percentage of salespeople who don't really like what their marketing team is doing because they don't see how it's helping them at all close deals?
Yeah, I have no idea what the percentage is. It's definitely very different. Like when I was working at big enterprises, for me, marketing was like, oh, we're going to an event. They are sending us there and they're going to do the booth. They're going to do the list of people for us to fill out. And we're going to come back and they're going to put the list into Salesforce. Thank you. Goodbye. But it's difficult to put a percentage. I think the smaller company you are, just like yourself the closer that collaboration is, because you really need each other. It's like, let's figure out what's actually working, because we can't otherwise drive business if we don't collaborate together. But there are certain milestones, and I think that dysfunctional collaboration comes from various measurements. Because if you measure marketers like you measure salespeople and would say, oh, the more quantity, the better. Do more calls, you'll get more meetings. Or, I don't know, do more outbound, you'll get more meetings. That's the old mentality that goes out like the bigger blast you do, the more leads you would get. Sales have moved from this. Like the more targeted you do your outbound, the more quality outbound you started to do, the easier it will be for you to close those leads that actually come in. It will be a smaller amount of people you're going to talk with, which is fantastic because you're not going to waste your time. And the same goes for marketing. So sales have moved away, hopefully, in most of the companies from that mass outreaches and mass cold call to irrelevant people. And the same goes for marketing. If we only measure them for, oh, bigger quantity, the better it is. Like, let's blast it out and let's send it over to sales. Well, it's not going to work. And that's where this friction is going to be created, because marketing will say, oh, we have created 10,000 leads and you closed 3 deals. What's up? Quality's up.
Yeah. Now we set the stage a little bit. What are some of the ways how you guys at Dreamdata make sure that marketing and sales is aligned? And you can get as specific and tactical here as you want.
Yeah. So to start with, we attend each other's weekly meetings, or at least there is a representative of sales and marketing. Usually marketing joins like a weekly planning meeting or pipeline review and so on, to get some understanding of how are the deals moving? Are they moving? What's happening in the marketing in the market right now? There's a big difference, like how we're working with European versus US leads. The market is so different in those two right now, but marketing has to know that as well, because they would have to know, where do we put our money and our bets on? Does social work all over? Okay, cool. We do social and like don't really differentiate. How about face-to-face events? How about paid ads? What type of paid ads work in the various regions and so on? So that helps marketing to get a sense of what's actually working in the field when sales are closing the deals. One of the things. Then when sales are talking with prospects, whenever there is anything we're not able to answer, we feed that back to marketing. It's like, oh, how about a video about this? Or we did not write about, I don't know, connection to data warehouse, a specific one or something, whatever that is, because we have to enable our buyers to find their answers without having to speak with sales to start with, if they're not ready. And if we're missing that information on the page, they will have to reach out to us and talk to a salesperson. But most of the people, if they're not ready, they don't want to speak to a salesperson. And that's another part of alignment that happens as well, where we start to look for signals. What are the right signals for sales to reach out or for marketing to do some specific retargeting as well? So have they been looking out at pricing? Oh, ding, ding, ding. They probably are interested. What would this cost me? Or have they been looking into integrations, some specific pages that might be relevant already for sales to know from marketing side? So the first person that usually pings me saying, "Oh, this account is looking at pricing. Laura, go try to reach out." Like, okay, hold your horses. I'll do my thing. But like that excitement between the two, especially to cheer each other to close deals, and like, oh, should we send a gift to this specific large client that we're closing right now? This is the close collaboration that I'm talking about.
I have so yeah. I'm already gonna jump in with. Do you have any? You as a salesperson, are there any signals that besides someone coming inbound and booking a demo, that when you see them, you jump on them right away?
Right away, not sure. So there is a step of soft touches that we usually do. Is that if we see an account showing intent through G2, we would start with connecting with the relevant people on LinkedIn to try to reach out to them, but not pitch, just like follow what we do, because we're so active on LinkedIn. So it is a soft touch. Hey, we're there. I'm connecting with you and I'm saying nothing. It's like, oh, so you do this on G2. So are you ready to book a meeting? Say, no, they'll book a meeting when they're ready to book a meeting. But there comes a time when they're actually ready to book a meeting, or do some soft conversion as well. Maybe start a trial, maybe actually submit a demo for a meeting, or download our benchmark report, something to show that they're actually kind of interested. And then we would reach out because it's relevant. We try to do a campaign calling out all of the recent accounts, I think like last 14 days, all the companies, relevant people that have been on our website, to call them up and say, hey, was this you? Seems like you're looking at this. Was so unsuccessful. So fantastically unsuccessful that it's like, good, cool, we tried this out.
Wait, but this is account level and then you pick the person, but you don't know whether that's the person.
No, it's.
Have you played around with these new person level identity things? Like retention.com has one and Warmly has one that tries to identify the exact person who came to the website.
I had a very long discussion with one of my LinkedIn friends from the US. He came over to me and said, is this GDPR compliant? What do you think?
It's not.
And then we looked into the details of all over the place. Kind of, they get away with it, but it doesn't.
No, they're not. Retention.com is very straightforward on the website. They're like, this is not GDPR compliant.
Exactly. And we're not dipping our toes into this. Security is very, very important for us. And we're showing that for the clients as well. So we're doing just like they are kind of maybe started to do, but we're doing the calculated guessing. If it's a company of, 500 people and somebody's looking into attribution, well, it's either operations or marketing. And what type of roles those are, you get to maybe 5 people to call.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward and easy.
What's your first question? Are you like, hey, did you visit our website? Is it you?
No. First of all, nobody picks up the phone, so it's kind of easy.
Right.
You just have to write an email and try to like connect with them. But most of the times it is like, seems like you're looking into attribution, or somebody in your company is looking into attribution, was curious if it was you. And most of the people are very open, and often they say no, and I'm a marketer and I know that this intent stuff usually doesn't work. So that's nice, because then they're showing that they're clever and it's actually right what they're saying. But sometimes they would say, cool. How did you know? It's like, well, want to try and see the same?
Do you guys have any data or your intuitive sense of what signals or sequence of signals make it most likely for you when you reach out to be successful?
I've seen somebody from Demandbase did a post today, not somebody, Vin Matano, that did it. I think that's exactly what they do. So if somebody has been 3 times in your pricing and 2 times tried to book a demo, didn't book a demo, then sales get all those signals. Just do that. We don't. We do get intent data, but it's a part of Dreamdata only because later on, when we need to stitch the full customer journey, then it's relevant to know that it started with intent on which sites and how did it happen. So we we do not stitch those signals, but it's definitely possible to build out because the data is available to extract and just do it for your own sales. But so far, well, if they have, usually the way it happens is that the very usual customer journeys, they have been exposed to our ads. We can see LinkedIn ads engagement to start with. We don't know who that is. The company's right. And then suddenly we start seeing reverse IP lookup that this company is on our website, this IP. So, okay, nice. Something is happening. And we can see what they're reading, but we don't know who that is. And we're not jumping. I mean, we've got a lot of customers to work with, maybe too much for
totally.
Like to jump on those pieces, but it's also very relevant information. And then after that, they either submit a form or start for free and do some type of identification for us to start talking with them. Buyers don't want to speak with sales, especially marketers. They hate sellers. And I understand. It's like there have been so many sleazy salespeople that just would bant you. And it's like, I'm not ready. I just want to ask questions. That's not helpful. So we're doing our best to change that.
Yeah. I have something from Anna. I'm going to go into that. Just one comment I saw. Is it Reveal, the company who does this near-bound partner-led thing? I think it's Reveal. I sign up for that platform. They have a freemium thing. I sign up. And literally 2 minutes later, one of their AEs connected with me on LinkedIn and said, hey, Finn, I saw you sign up for our platform. If you have any questions, let me know. That I actually really liked. She didn't try to pitch me. She was just like, I'm a resource here in case you have any questions. And I actually had a question because I tried to integrate a CRM that they didn't support. And she helped me figure out how to do that. So that was awesome.
But this is so normal because it's so much easier for her to talk to her, like ask her questions rather than to ask on intercom or write to a company. Because this is so impersonal. So help me out. And then it's easier to say, oh, sorry, I'm just testing.
Totally.
And then she's back.
Totally. So Anna said, one, I think in some cases marketing already has a new mentality and sales hasn't. That's when things don't work. And sales is still being measured on a very old school way in many cases. Not sure if you have a reaction to that. Besides that, she has a question. She says, can Laura please comment on sales not wanting very complete websites? In my case, they don't want to give it all away and wish for people to contact them.
Oh, I have a very strong opinion that you have to give away as much as possible. Like if I'm booked for meetings just to answer questions when somebody is just trying to figure out how does the market work and so on, I'm very happy to do that. And I'm a resource. That's why I post so much on LinkedIn about the way we see sales and marketing alignment, how does Dreamdata work and so on. So people can educate themselves before they have to talk to me like sales, really. And the reason that type of mentality is happening is because, sales are measured on quantity. How many customers did you talk with? So instead of I need to call and book those meetings, well, give me those inbounds, then it will count in my numbers. And then further, I will close some of them anyway. And this is not how people want to buy anymore. And very likely you're losing to competition that is giving everything away on the website. They will already learned everything about you. They will probably take a call with your competition as well. But they have been on your website for so many hours already reading everything. So that brand identity and openness will work wonders when you'll have to close that client.
Yeah, I'll comment on what I think one of the assumptions is that if we don't put pricing on the website, for example, that curiosity of wanting to know what the price is will drive people to book a demo, which is not what happens because unless you're like this rare breed that literally has zero competitors in your market, some of your competitors do have that information on your website, and no person likes going into a sales conversation blind because you want to have leverage. So if I have two options, one competitor, I know what their pricing is, I know who they integrate with, I know who their customers are, I've already seen some case studies, versus someone where I have no clue what they want to charge me, what they do, how it integrates. I'm going to book the sales call with this company where I already can go in with leverage, with knowledge, with very specific questions.
Exactly.
I had a question too earlier. You said, one of the ways that you guys align sales and marketing is that sales feeds marketing what questions and objections, for example, come up on sales calls. Do you guys have some sort of process behind that? like a form or a Google Doc or a spreadsheet, and then also how to prioritize. Oh, let's create a great asset for this question, but this one, man, maybe we keep in the pipeline for later. Do you have a process around that?
That's why we've got an amazing content manager, and he has a team behind him as well who works with it. So, well, he does have a priority of what he writes and when does he release stuff. And sales can put stuff in there, but usually we just have dedicated Slack channels for the various things. And then we would pose the question, maybe we already have that asset, we just are too lazy to find it. And then we would be exposed to what that asset is, or they would either update a document with that information or create a new one, depending on how pressing that is, or maybe it's just one-off and they just need an answer, which is also fine. And then we can like down prioritize it for another time as well.
How do you guys organize it so that it's easy to find quickly for the salespeople?
Jeremy does this in Notion. I think,
Notion,
I mean,
makes sense.
We're still smallish team. What is it? We're like 60 right now. And the marketing team is, I think, right around 10 people, and the sales team is 6 people. So it's not too difficult to align, but as long as the cool thing is about sharing it openly, not just putting it in a list, everybody else figures out, oh, my client actually asked that too. I just forgot to post that. Or, oh, you should answer something differently as well. So we grow as well of how do we answer questions, which is also a very good piece to work with. There's another part of that type of alignment that goes the other way. So back to marketing. We got an amazing new product marketer, and she started to write about customer journeys, because customer journeys is one of the key things that everybody comes over to us. But we constantly ask ourselves, so, okay, what is the actual value of this? Like, you see it now, so maybe it's just a secret that you want to uncover. Now you uncovered it. So what would you do with it? And she said, okay, I want to write a lot of content around it that is relevant the way people speak about it. So sales, whenever you speak about this on calls, just ask it a second time. So why do you like this? Explain it in your own words. And then we've got it in Gong. As soon as we re-ask that question, then we just feed it back to product marketing for her to work out her magic to set it up into digestible information for everybody who comes on the website.
Yeah. Kevin Steele on LinkedIn says, really interesting conversation so far. That's nice. Anna says, I'd like Laura's advice on getting sales into being active and producing content on LinkedIn. I'm supporting one person on this with content, but it's hard to get everyone on board. I think people want, I think that's a separate comment. So to that question.
So this is what I usually get companies booked for, like 30 minutes or an hour conversation of how to get people posting on LinkedIn. It's not easy, but there are a couple of key things that needs to be done. This is not marketing's job to start with. This is your leadership's job, because it goes across both marketing and sales. Me as a salesperson being on LinkedIn, it's so beneficial for me, because whenever I do cold outreach, people know me. So it's so beneficial for me, and it's amazing for the brand as well. So it goes across. To start with, your leadership has to start posting and openly advocating for, we want to be there. So it's not somebody in marketing who says this, your leadership says this. And from there, then we can talk about how marketing can help everybody else in the company to do that content. Like, oh, we produced this blog, let's do a workshop and create, 10 posts out of it. Or here's a shitty post, let's create a nice one out of it. Or like, start to gather ideas and workshops for yourselves in the team to excite people, and celebrate to hell. Like, do competitions, do challenges, whatever it is, like feed them, give them gifts. And then it starts as a spinning wheel as well. We've got a Slack group for that as well. So everybody who are active on LinkedIn or would like to support, then they also can see what's going on. Everybody's posting. And then if you're not posting, but you want to, and you don't have the time, or it's not you, just go copy your colleague's post and rewrite it a bit and post it as yours. You will already start to feel that, oh, I'm contributing. Nice. Next time you'll try to write. So there are a lot of tips that you can do to encourage them, but it starts with leadership.
Anna says makes sense. So I guess that answered the question.
She also is suggesting to hire you for that.
So
that's also a good idea.
What's your favorite way of explaining to, Well, either another salesperson or leadership of what's the point of doing this posting on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So to start with, it's brand awareness. People are consuming information in really crazy ways nowadays. Like the shorter it is, attention spans are really, really short. Nobody wants to read your long blog. And up till they found it, they skimmed it. They probably, I don't know, started to do something else or skimmed it while watching Netflix. I don't know, whatever. So you have to be there where your buyer's at. And even if you're selling to some buyers that are, I don't know, in manufacturing or financials or something, they still go to LinkedIn for one reason or another once in a while. And if you're consistently posting on LinkedIn, when they're there, and if you're connected, or there are a lot of tips for that as well, but you would start to appear in their feed and they will start to know you. So that branding will start to build up before they even start to show intent. And the next time they think about, oh, somebody to do content writing, wait, I've heard about Finn because he does those videos and LinkedIn lives and so on. Oh, maybe I want to see who else does this, but I will also speak with Finn. So that's why, because it's business.
Yeah, people are like, fuck this Finn guy. I'm so annoyed by his content. Definitely not talking to this guy. I want to ask on a thing you said previously, because it's actually something that I struggle with. Outbound based on intent data. When I think about it, so I understand that we want to cold call or cold email people because they might have never heard about us and be unaware. And if I cold call them or send them a quick email, suddenly they might be like, oh, I didn't know the solution exists. Awesome. But if they're already engaging with my content, they're already seeing my ads, they're already on my website, clearly they're aware of me. Somehow they haven't booked a demo. So I guess they decided this is not important or relevant to them. How do I justify me reaching out? Like, I don't know if that's me struggling with it. I'm like, why would I send them an email now? Like, they're on my website. So clearly if they wanted to buy, they would have booked a demo. No?
I had that dilemma also before in SaaS. Like, what is the actual thing? Why should I reach out or not be too cheesy? Oh, you're new my website. Want to chat?
Yeah.
No. But try to think of how you yourself would be buying. Okay, so you have heard about this Dreamdata thing, you have been reading about them and so on and so forth, and you have been on their website, probably looked at G2 and so on. But like a lot of things like pile up. I do a lot of other stuff and so on. And then suddenly I also saw some people creating content on LinkedIn from Dreamdata. And one day Laura pops up in your DMs and say, hey, Finn, what's up? We're doing this. Want to have a chat, or not even a chat, read up that, or what are you trying to do with your attribution? And that familiar face now is one-on-one. Maybe there will be people who will not appreciate it, but for me, I have seen so many brands that I might be interested in trialing, or maybe it would be cool, but would never book it by myself because I'm still like not ready to buy. I'm not sure if it's valuable. But that one-to-one conversation that was started, that was not just a pitch or book a meeting because you're here, but just a conversation starter that already gave that personal touch that we're talking one-on-one and like, oh, so what do you do? Or like, what kind of, I don't know, ad platforms are you using? Or is LinkedIn cool nowadays? Are you losing money on LinkedIn? Or we've got a webinar, something like that, that is relevant for the person to start that conversation. But one thing that you said actually also brought up a thought for me. So all this intent, if you like compare intent and targeted outreach, they never heard about you, but maybe they might need your solution because you know the ICPs, but some of the companies are on your website. You still have to filter those.
Right.
You cannot just reach out to whoever because you know those are either not the right industry, not the right size, not the right people in the company. They're just curious and stuff, and it will be just a waste of time. So if I were to choose any time of the day, let's say you get 1,000 leads from G2 and you get to prospect to, I don't know, 10,000 companies. You get a bigger number because they don't know you. I would choose the prospecting one because I would choose which companies come into the list and that are relevant to talk with according to the ones that I've already closed.
Right.
So G2 is really nice, and salespeople whoever in my team, we get very lazy and think, woo, they're here, easy to close. But that hard work of prospecting might bring in the bigger clients as well.
Right. They might actually be harder to close because if they're on G2, they're aware of all of the alternatives and competitors in your space, and they're really comparing versus someone who just has a problem and you're the first to reach them. From your experience as a seller, and maybe you can just speak to Dreamdata, maybe you've seen data from like other companies. What are some of the marketing activities that consistently drive really high quality leads or inbounds, and versus what are a lot of the places where marketers get excited, but you as a seller, you're like, from my perspective, you can stop doing that?
It's a chain of a lot of things happening. So if I take Dreamdata, so the biggest, G2 is awesome because as soon as you know your ICP, it's really, really good. Paid ads, it's something different. So if you are a master of paid ads, just like our CMO is, you really niche in. You don't ever waste money of not knowing if it's going to close. So he already knows if it's a good lead or he should just stop it because it never goes even further than an SQL or so on. Which keywords are working, which campaigns are the best ones to drive, and stuff like that. It's very different. But for us, I mean, there's a chain of things that happens, and usually they start direct, and then they would tell us, "Oh, I've seen you on LinkedIn," or "Somebody in the community told me about that," or Finn spoke to some other friend somewhere, and then he chose to trial it out as well. Then you come direct. You read stuff, then probably you're going to compare in G2, and you're going to submit a form, and here you go. Welcome to sales.
So LinkedIn, G2, and then having great educational stuff on the website.
Absolutely. And serving your clients before they even need to ask you. For us, when we're selling to marketers, they enjoy bite-sized information that is especially data-backed. So like educating them how you can do this without us.
Right.
Like how can you optimize your ads without using Dreamdata, or how, like, various stuff that others have been doing is really useful too, because you're educating, they're probably not ready. But since we don't just solve that one problem we're talking about, you probably one day will need the solution as well. Benchmark work wonders. So keep an eye. We're going to have also a very cool release soon around benchmarks as well. Like they're curious, like, oh, but how do I compare with something like that? It's going to be really good.
Yeah, Databox came out with this whole benchmarking tool with Peter Caputo. I mean, I guess that's a bad question to ask you because, Dreamdata has very aligned marketing and sales. So marketing isn't really doing any activities that are not useful or wasting time. But do anything come to mind that you see with other companies? I think some people would say, the classic ebook download thing where you get a bunch of leads that sales just would rather not touch at all because they're like, these people don't close ever. Are there any other or things that come to mind here that are just kind of repeatedly not performing for marketing sales?
Long tail, maybe they're performing, but like webinars, I mean, we're educating.
Yeah, what am I doing here?
You're educating your audience for long tail. And that's the thing. So you would have to know what is happening further down the pipeline. And then that means that, in 2021, we spoke with this person on a webinar. And in 2024, we closed this. So actually, webinars is one of the channels that first touch takes the longest to close. Social, the same. LinkedIn social is really, really long tail. But out of those like useless leads are definitely ebooks. And especially now when you've got AI to help you with stuff and so on, we still have like our, I think some of the combined blogs are in one ebook just for the lazy ones. If you want all the blogs in one place and you want to read it on a plane or something, submit a form and you can just download it. Useless. Really. Like we like, here you go. Thank you very much. No, thank you.
Yeah, we were experimenting for a time because I do a lot of like 2-minute, 3-minute videos on LinkedIn. And at one point we thought, what would be a great idea? We can stitch all of these 3-minute videos together into one 45-minute podcast episode. And now we have a podcast. Turns out no one listens to that Because first it's like, well, if I want to hear that, I could just go to LinkedIn and watch the video. And two, it's just not native to podcasts. Like that's not how podcasts work. It's not a great podcast experience. And so we killed that idea after a time.
But if you did them like TikToks, but still, again, not the same thing, like TikToks or Instagram, whatever, it has to start really pow. This is the thing for
right.
that type of medium. You would still have to adjust it a lot for them to work, but that could be like scrollable content or swipeable, whatever.
Yeah. Are there any other major things that you guys are doing to align marketing and sales? I know we talked about a lot. Does anything else come to mind?
Yeah, we go out and eat together. We like make fun of each other. we do like each other. It's really, really nice. And there's a lot of collaboration. We do events. This is a new thing for us as well. So we don't do booths just yet, but we go to events and we're supported. We do side events as well. This is also a big collaboration point for us. Like where marketing supports us, like to book the place, to get some advertisement on it, and then we do invite people that we handpick. Whoever's going to New York on the 5th of April, we're going to be there, so you can join us as well, and stuff like that. If there is an event we're going to, we're doing a side event. Marketing is helping us out. Amazing. I love talking with people face to face, and it has an amazing ROI as well. Whenever you track it out throughout the customer journey, meeting people face to face is on another level. And it's not because you meet them to, oh, do you want to buy? No, it's just a conversation. We're having drinks, we're talking relevant stuff, or we're inviting exciting speakers. And then later, when you do have that problem or you're ready, they'll come back. Oh, a lot of people come back, especially when you're active on LinkedIn combined with events, because you're still that familiar face. I've met at an event and I'm still continuing seeing you. It feels like it was just a month ago we met, even though it was 2022.
No, totally. I think, well, one thing about in-person events, obviously you meet the person, and a lot of buying is around trust. And when you can shake someone's hand and actually meet them, it's just, you build trust on a different level. That's also why I'm a fan of video content, because you can see them, you can hear their voice. It's different than just reading text. I think another thing is also like, when you have someone in front of you, you act differently. Like what you just said, you don't go up to them and you're like, hey, want to book a demo? Like you would never do that in person. Not even like, not even a bad SDR would do that, because it's just, it's weird. But somehow we do it in the digital world. And I think there is this lack of barrier where we forget that we're talking to people, because we're sending out a newsletter to 1,000 people and it's just a number. And what I started noticing, I only recently started sending newsletters, but when I sit down, first I write down and I write a newsletter. Right. And it's the classic, we're excited that next week upcoming we have, it's like, and then I would think, wait a second, this is going out to Anurag, like one of our customers. I would feel so embarrassed for him to get that email. How would I write the email if I wanted to let Anurag know that, by the way, we have an event coming up and maybe this is useful for him? And you write the email completely different, because suddenly you're writing it to a person. And you're writing it in a way where you don't want to embarrass yourself, because it's like, I don't want to just flat out remote. I want to think about, why would Anurag actually want to join this event? Like, he's not doing me a favor, right? Like, what's in it for him? And suddenly you rewrite the email and suddenly it's a good email newsletter, but it's because you actually behave like you're talking to a person rather than a number. Right. And I feel like that's also powerful about meeting people in person. It's just, all right. Anna has another question. What do you think is the best type of content marketing? What do you think is the best type of content marketing can produce to help sales directly?
It's educational content specific for your product. So all that type of educational product content that, like, okay, we sell attributions. Like, what are the most known attribution models? So that's, we assume will help on SEO. That's good. This is your craft and you know best how to do it. But this is not helpful for sales, at least in the sales process. So in the sales process, for me, the most valuable content is in our documentation, stuff that people go in and look for, like, okay, so if I want to do custom CRM filters, how would I do that? Because this is also some kind of knowledge that I can offload from my own mind. I will tell you how it works, but for exact precise information how to do it, so go to this article. I'll send you a list of things like, I don't know, custom CRM or uploading events cost or whatever that is. This is fantastic. Next thing that I really, really love is bite-sized video content from the product. Demos. So Stefan does a lot of those. It's like, oh, you want to optimize your Google ads for SQLs. This is how you do it. 3 minutes. And then you've got a list of recipes that helps your clients already understand it. But at the same time, for me, it also helps to either disqualify prospects that I don't think is a good idea meeting because we're not a fit. But then I would say, oh, seems like you're doing a lot of paid ads or you're doing a lot of content. Look at those videos. And if you still think that it's a good idea for us to meet, let's do it. Or then after I met a client and show them a little bit of demo, so I will send you a couple of more videos next time we meet for a precise demo for you. But before that, might these 2 videos be interesting? This is really, really good for me.
Yeah. I think from my side, because I do both marketing and sales for us, I think this whole top, middle, and bottom of funnel is a little outdated. The way that I think about it, the content that really generates inbound for us, like I can see a spike, is LinkedIn posts, and LinkedIn posts where I break down a process or framework or playbook that solves a big pain point that our ICPs have, but that ties directly into what we offer. So a couple of days ago, I made a post where I said, if I was CMO at a B2B SaaS trying to replicate the Chris Walker playbook, here's how I would do it. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Got like 200 likes, right? It was a whole breakdown giving away exactly how I would do that. And turns out this is what we do for companies. So I got 3 inbound demos from qualified people as a result of it, right?
This is fantastic. And there are not that many people who do that.
Yeah.
I see some consulting companies that are doing this and doing it really to perfection because it feels like you're giving away your ideas and your work. But if somebody can implement it by themselves, well, they're kind of not a good client for you either. Yeah. They're reaching out to you because they don't have the time and they want somebody who's professional. I have done this with hundreds of clients to do this for me. This is absolutely perfect.
Yeah. For middle of funnel, what I really like is on our website, I have a 36-minute video where I basically do an extended version of that, which is like, here's exactly the process, how we're driving 15 demo requests for high ACV SaaS products through founder-led marketing, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, me video recording a Loom. There's a whole document with links to our library and the template and the Notion thing that we use and how we edit content and our content pillar framework. It's all in one document. Once someone books a demo, they get that. Well, 1, it's on the website, and 2, they get redirected to a thank you page, which has that video. They get an email notification saying, hey, before the call, please try to watch this video. That makes a big difference because once they show up to the sales call, they're like, okay, these guys don't just understand how to get some attention on LinkedIn. There's actually a thought through process, but you can't get someone to watch a 35-minute video on LinkedIn directly because they don't know you yet. And then for bottom of funnel, the way that I think about it is just sales FAQ. Like, what are the recurring questions that I get on the sales call of like, how does pricing work? You know, do you cover these channels and blah, 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 blah. And for each of them, I want to have a canned response, either in the form of a video or in the form of like a sub page that I just send them or a graphic that I can send them, like some piece of content that just answers each of these FAQ questions. And that's how I...
But Finn, if I was a devil's advocate and I would say, okay, so what if somebody that is your competition looked into all this and started to do the similar thing? How do you feel about that?
I think it's real. I've seen some companies actually use some of our terminology that like I started using, but I think the benefit outweighs the cost, because it's just the amount of trust and awareness that I can build through that is just worth so much more than some competitor copying some word or thing that we do. And in the end, you know, like what goes out, like the 35-minute video is like 2 versions behind of the actual thing that we implement for customers. So if that's what people copy, they're like, two steps behind of what's actually being used on customers in a sense, you know? So I don't know. It's, yeah. How do you think
Yeah,
about it? I mean, I feel like
that,
this was
that's
like a,
that's exactly how I feel about it. And we see that time and time again. Like some companies that think that they're our competition, or some that actually are. And if something comes out, it's like, oh, nice. So we actually don't even care about this anymore. So it's all
yeah,
right. Continue doing this. Because also for your type of business as well, it's you are the face and the work for the company as well. So
yeah,
all the videos that you put out and so on, that trust is not just built through the content that you provide, not only through those tutorial videos, but ongoing conversations that you're having with your audience on LinkedIn, wherever they are, also to bring that value. So, and that cannot be copied. If you want to copy documentation, fine.
yeah, yeah. Charles says here on LinkedIn, great to see you two tackling the subjects. Thanks for the time. Marketing and sales alignment is crucial because both departments possess vital information. The only way to connect the dots and form a comprehensive picture is by working together collaboratively. Agree. There was no question here. Benjamin said, I thought the explosion in podcast efforts is due to how many cut downs into short form of single recordings gives you for reposting elsewhere. I think that's a good reason to have a podcast. We definitely use clips out of this. I think if that's the only way that you use it, you're underutilizing it, but sure. I mean, it's a way to get your short form content. One more question for you, Laura. Do you feel like the classic profile of the SDR or salesperson is shifting in the sense that you're clearly doing great? You're posting a lot of content on LinkedIn, which is traditionally marketing. Gongs, SDRs, and AEs are super out there. I love their content. They're hilarious. They post memes. Like, I feel like a lot of top performing SDRs right now are actually some of the best people posting on LinkedIn. Do you feel like that this is shifting the
I would
profile?
challenge the piece of best performing SDRs
Okay,
because you are not the best only because you're outspoken on LinkedIn.
true.
That could be like a fake reality that people are seeing a lot because your face is out there. You fake it till you make it. You only talk about the positive things, yada, yada, yada. And like, oh, this is a successful person. I want to meet him or her.
Right.
So don't ever put that on. And posting on LinkedIn is not for everyone. For me, it comes naturally. It gives me energy. For some other people, it might feel really, really hard, or it's like, I'm going to do it because I support the company, but it takes so much energy out of me. Then I'd rather, I don't know, do 7 follow-ups after customer calls, which is also amazing because there are people who don't get energy for writing follow-ups or creating videos for their clients or something like that. So you would have to group your team members who does what and who gets energy from what, because you can't expect the same thing from everybody. If you were expecting your whole SDR team posting on LinkedIn, I don't think it would be a successful sales team because people are different.
No,
But if you find it, yeah.
I understand that, and that's a very political answer. Um, but I mean, some SDRs hate cold calling. It's like, well, then you're maybe in the wrong job if you hate, cold calling. So, but you said that you feel like it's really helping you. You're not just posting on LinkedIn because you kind of like it and it's fun. It's like, no, it helps you actually close deals and be recognized. And when you send out a cold email, people see you. So I guess I agree that some people are more naturally inclined for this type of thing. The question is, will this become more of a norm that
Mm.
actually you as a seller, it's going to become more and more that you don't just need to be great at cold calling, otherwise you're in the wrong job. You need to be great at content and LinkedIn and social, otherwise you're just not a great seller.
Yeah, you'll need a political answer again. So to start with, we're in a bubble of
Mm-hmm.
marketers selling to like either other marketers, founders, and so on, people who stay on LinkedIn and see each other,
Yeah.
and we see this as a success. So that's cool. And the same would go for some other SDRs who are selling maybe, I don't know, IT people who are not that much there. And then you just need to enable some of them to do it to be able to check it out. Is this channel working for us to start
Yeah.
with? But buyer behaviors are changing. And buyers don't want to meet with salespeople like off the bat. Oh, should we book a call? It's like, what is the soft conversion? What can I do? Do you have a TikTok or something else where I can follow you? That is becoming more of a norm because the buyer behavior is changing. And depending on who you're selling to, if it's a more classical company, well, maybe you'll still need those old-fashioned skills and it will take longer time till somebody will start to post on LinkedIn. So this is the most political correct answer I've given you. Like you can use it to anything.
I love it. Anna said, I think social media skills are becoming a standard as a professional. Most influential people of today are really good on social media or hire people to do that for them. All right, we're getting here to the 1 hour mark. I had a blast. Let me maybe ask you one last question. Are there any new favorite AI tools that you've discovered that you actually find useful?
I really love what Gong is pushing out with their AI. So most of the AI stuff that I do is what is integrated in other tools. So what Gong is helping with summaries, and you can ask the question, has this been mentioned and how many calls and stuff? Amazing. So much time saved. Then what SensePark is doing with like hello watermelon, and then it would say hello Finn or hello Tobias, whoever else that is. And that's amazing because then it saves time as well. I use ChatGPT as well for some specific prompts, but not for posting on LinkedIn. It's more for like trying to, yeah, like if this was a buyer, tell me what problems they're working with, to do some market research to help me out to be better at what I do. So these are the favorite ones that are actually integrated into some other tools.
What was that second watermelon thing?
SensePark. So it's when you do videos, especially, well, we didn't speak much about it, but product videos, if you do sell product on LinkedIn, work really well as well for kind of lead gen as well. So it's like, I'm going to walk you through how to optimize your LinkedIn ads to new business and that talking bubble in the middle, and then you can take it down, whatever. But what you say or the background that you show, it could be that you said the customer's name and you're showing their website, but your original video was just this, what you're seeing now. It's cool.
I see. Cool. Well, I'm gonna just check if there's any last. Nope. Looks like we answered all the things. Laura, this was awesome. I had a lot of fun. I hope it was decent and bearable for you to talk with me. And yeah, it was fun. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for inviting. It was a blast. I love your content and I wish you guys success because you're doing great. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you. You're also your content is awesome too. And for anyone who will listen to this afterwards, it will go out on our YouTube and Spotify. I will link Laura's LinkedIn down below and also Dreamdata if you guys want to check it out. So you can find that there. And with that, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.